You want to do it?
No, go ahead.
Hey, yeah. How y'all doing, ladies and gentlemen, and everybody this evening? Everybody looks so lovely this evening. Now, how y'all doing? Y'all know what it is. It's 10 p.m., a little bit after 10 p.m. We're on CP time tonight, but we are here nonetheless. Another edition, episode 3 of the SKEAM podcast. I'm your host, Main Manifest. To my left, I have...
Hey, it's your girl, Rhea.
On the lovely left. To her left, we have...
It's your man, Zenos.
Zenos, we already know. And normally to my right, I have POJ, but he's not with us tonight. You know, we all got things to do, but you know what it is. This is the SKEAM team. Again, y'all can watch us on Facebook Live. The stream, we're going to be working on that. Got a little difficulties tonight. IG is the SKEAM_podcast. You see it right there. Right there. Talk to us, Drew. And on YouTube, SKEAM.podcast. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. Man, we are back. We all in the flow. Like, been a crazy week. How's everybody been? Good?
I'm doing okay.
All right. Yo, we here. We got our queen back. The only one who can hold us down. Our daily dose of estrogen.
Right. Yes, your daily dose of estrogen.
Let's toast. Y'all know how we do. We toasting. We are unique. We still get our toast and go on up with it. Eye contact. Mm-hmm. Yeah, eye contact. We gotta make sure that happens. Listen, it's so many things happening, so many things transpiring right now. The Buccaneers of Tampa Bay are putting foot in the ass of the Steelers of Pittsburgh, but we're not gonna talk about that.
Yeah, because it's 31-16 Steelers, I think. So.
Oh, is that right? Okay, well, you know, I was only talking about the starters. You know, we got to get ready for the show. Yeah, so when I left with the starters, we pulled them probably about second drive. Yeah, we ain't this guy. We got Rhea and the referee to break up a fight. So. Y'all know how we do. We start with our sports. Since you want to jump right on in it, I don't. Did you get a chance to see that first drive? Jameis, the Winston, who wins a ton. Winston went right down the field on him.
I did not.
5 for 6, couple scrambles. Touchdown. You already know. You know how we do. Quit playing, boy.
They might be back.
Can't get out that bet now. And they said actually Nick Bosa of your 49ers is not.
Y'all two are hilarious.
He's not the preseason.
You sure?
He'll be back.
I mean, he needs those reps. He's never played at this level before.
That's like saying Jordan needs reps.
Jesus Christ.
He's never played at this level before.
That's all right. He'll be back.
Oh, okay.
He's a beast.
You're confident?
I'm ready.
Oh, okay.
Y'all could do this all night, couldn't you?
Oh, yeah.
Back and forth.
We've been doing it for years.
It's unfortunate. I don't understand. We're gonna go with sports, D's. Let's jump right into sports because this guy clearly is excited about the preseason, but he's just off kiltered a little bit. Actually, has San Fran played, or they played tomorrow? Or?
They have not played yet.
Okay.
They might play. They might be playing right now or playing tomorrow.
You know, did you see the young boy who I was telling you about? The boy Kyler Murray, gonna be the face of that division. Kyler, the number 1 pick, Murray, looked phenomenal. If I must say, phenomenal in his debut.
Well, you know, the preseason is the time for scrubs to shine. So
wow, scrubs.
You know, once the regular season gets started, we'll see.
Scrubs to shine.
Yeah. I don't know how scrubs shine, but
yeah, a lot of people look good in the preseason.
Okay,
that don't make the squad. So.
Well, we know Bosa won't be looking good because he's not getting any snaps, but that's neither here nor there.
Y'all are a mess.
Yeah, he'll meet Mr. Murray soon. So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Coming to a backfield near you.
We're gonna see, man. I know his brother has some issues, kind of holding out, and so that might run in the blood.
Is he still holding out?
I don't know. He's turned into a good player. Yeah, he's for San Diego.
Yeah.
So.
I can't with y'all. I can't.
Speaking of the NFL and holdouts, we gotta go, man. Why are Ezekiel Elliott they're not trying to pay this guy, man? I know we talked about it a little bit. Won't get too much into it, but it seemed like he's gonna miss games, man.
He is.
I think he will as well, man.
I think Le'Veon Bell set a new standard last season.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I think running backs have always taken the brunt of the season, and they're not going to do that anymore unless they're getting paid. So,
yeah.
Especially after they produced for a few years.
And actually, we saw the running back get traded. Duke Johnson from Cleveland went to Houston, so he got traded, and then Melvin Gordon is still holding out. Didn't you have him in fantasy one year, Melvin Gordon?
Might have. Was that the year I won the championship?
I don't know. I I don't know. I know I want it after you. I know I'm has the most. My
Oh my
ring
God,
is more later.
we're not recounting the past fantasy.
I
We're
know.
not doing that.
Well, because he ran, you know. So
a ring is a ring.
are you gonna get back in the league to defend? You didn't defend your title,
I did not.
I had to come take it after.
So in other sports news,
we gotta talk about the Rich Paul news. See how she keeps us on the Rich Paul rule. In the NBA, man, they created a rule which is targeting strictly minorities. They came up with a rule. You probably heard the story. Where agents have to now go to college,
have an undergrad degree
to be an agent, which is crazy. And it's only for basketball, NCAA men's basketball, which is crazy. So in football, coaches like Alabama, Saban, and all that going to still make $5 gazillion a year.
Yeah.
And they're going to give players a jersey and a textbook.
And a free degree.
I mean, listen, is it free? I mean, some schools don't even graduate their players. So
True.
What y'all think about? Go ahead. The Rich Paul rule. Go ahead. For toss up. Let's discuss this.
I don't understand what precipitated this even being an issue. Like, why? What was the need to instate to have a rule that would say something like that? Like, why do they care whether or not the person's agent went to college or not? Like, I don't understand where this even came from or why it's an issue.
Because Rich Paul is single-handedly.
Because this one, I know he represents, LeBron, and he represents a ton of people. I get that part. So they did all of this to keep something like this from happening again.
Again, when you see a brother getting ahead, you want to come try to change the narrative.
But that just seems crazy, and it also seems extremely invasive. Like, how do they get to tell people who their agent can be? Like, I just don't. The whole thing just sounds asinine to me.
So let me break it down. It's multifaceted. Number one, they're trying to stop the pipeline because a la LeVar Ball and his sons. Okay, NCAA, you want to make up these bogus rules? I'll take my sons overseas. So even before the Ball brothers, I think Sebastian Telfair, Brandon Jennings had did it. That being leaving the NBA, leaving high school, saying, bump that, I'm not going to play for free for 2 years. I'll go overseas,
right?
Play professionally, where 16-year-olds and 17-year-olds can play, make millions of dollars, and then come back next year and get drafted.
Yeah.
That's when the NCAA instituted the one and done rule. So now, players get connected to agents because if you're not amateur, you can have an agent. Right. So cats like Rich Paul, who from the hood and all that, they had the inside. So they're thinking that if we make cats get degrees, that now that's going to steer players away from going to a Rich Paul or which it won't, but it's just another hurdle to climb because too many of us were getting ahead.
Yeah, it just seems asinine, honestly. Like, it makes no sense.
Well, to me, this is I don't like playing the race card. And I think sometimes it's played too much. But in a situation like this, when people ask, what is systematic racism? To me, this is an example. Because if I'm an agent, you don't need a degree to be a singer. Did Michael Jackson have a degree?
No.
Did Prince have a degree?
No.
So there are certain fields where you don't need a degree in order to be successful in those fields. And so why are you telling basketball players that their agent, which has nothing to do with playing in college,
the representative,
has to have a college degree? When the largest segment of America without college degrees are African Americans. The largest segment of players in college and pro basketball are African Americans. So this is obviously, in my opinion, a huge piece of what you call systematic racism.
I think real quick, to your point, it's not playing a race card when you state fact. Some people do say that a lot. Yeah, so this is clearly blatant, but given the fact that it's only instituted in one sport,
right?
Is basketball, which is African Americans, which we dominate.
Well, is it common for agents to have undergraduate degrees though? No. Like, is that a common thing across the board? Not just regardless of color.
All you have to do is be certified by the Players Association,
right?
It may have been common back in the day when those were probably more likely businessmen. But as as times change, you have more agents who relate to the players, where they came from, what their best interests are. It probably started to change over time, I would imagine.
Yeah, that sounds crazy. It still sounds crazy to me. So I don't even. It just seems like a dumb rule.
Like
it is.
On Skip and Shannon, shout out to Undisputed. Shannon made a great point about it. He said they never had a rule like this when David Falk used to be with a super agent. He had Michael Jordan. This is like early '90s when again he was European, but when he was controlling the league or whatever, if you will, it had all the top players. There was no rule like this instituted. So why now You know, and again, like I said, basketball is about 90%, you know, African American. They know this is a lot of times young brothers, you know, from unfortunate situations, this is their only ticket to do that. So why you want to limit them, number one, from making money, but number two, who they can make money with. It's just crazy, man. And we got to call it how we see it.
And it's not a skill set that undergrad really does anything to prepare you for. Like, it's not like there's something specific you learn in undergrad that's going to help you be a better agent at all. Like, it's so unnecessary.
But we forgetting one part of it. Not only do they say you have to be certified by the NBA, now have a degree. After you can have those two components, you have to come in person and take a test. Come to Indianapolis to the NCAA and take a test. So I guess it's like if they don't like you, they can still like, who's going to be? No one's going to do all that.
That is ignorant and discriminatory because now it takes it to something completely arbitrary and extremely subjective for these potential agents. So that's just dumb.
It doesn't make sense because if I get accused of a crime, I can go to the courthouse, right, in America, and pick anybody off the street I want to represent me, or I can represent myself. And certain lawyers, you have to pass the bar and get certified, but if I want to be dumb enough to pick somebody off the street, I can do that. So if I want to hire an agent without a degree,
you should be able to do that.
I should be able to absorb that risk.
I give my representation. And what does it matter to you? Like, you try to act like you're the student athlete and all that. Now you turn these athletes, but first of all, they're student athletes. Now you turn them into clients. The NCAA changed their lingo. What if they're clients? Isn't that professional? And why does the NCAA make $450 million a year or not, and the players don't get anything? Who's getting that money? So, you know, we got to start looking up some of these salaries and all that, you know, because where is this money going? And
to the colleges.
Yeah. Oh, man. Well, to coaches.
Somebody's pockets are nice and fat. Trust and believe.
Alabama football probably makes about 80, 90 million a year. And Nick Saban might get 8 of that. So the large portion of that money is still going to the college. And to the colleges. By the way, college tuition costs are still going up.
Still going up.
So it's not like it's trickling down to the students or the players.
Right, exactly.
Did you see? I think it was either the Honey Badger or one of the LSU players. He went on his professional team. He's like, bruh, my college locker room is better than this. And he did a video of it. They showed LSU. Man, they had the touch screen playbooks, the thermal, like futuristic. It looked like a spaceship. Right. Crazy. And boosters, I think, paid for that. That ain't even the money that come through the revenue. That was just the boosters. Like, yo, we gonna just throw $50 million to renovate the locker room. He's like, yo, my college locker room is better than the NFL make crazy money. So just think about that.
That's so sick. Like, it's sick when you think about it. Honestly, it is sickening.
Futuristic. So do they have a cryogenic lab?
Oh yeah. Well, they beat Alabama every year, so you know they must be doing something.
Okay.
They have beat Alabama since 2011.
But Alabama had to steal their coach, so technically
we're not gonna go back to this.
We took the Dolphins.
We're not gonna go back to this.
Oh, the Dolphins. He won his first championship. Can we get a fact checker on that?
No.
Nick Saban's first championship in college was that LSU?
LSU.
Okay,
that's right.
Then I had to say what he's doing. If you can't beat him, join him.
Yeah, he sang the Beyonce song "Upgrade You."
Oh, okay. He upgraded. That's what he did.
Yeah.
Wow, he did it. Did it in that note too. Let's go on to another NFL story, which is crazy. I don't know if y'all got a chance to look. Marshawn Lynch corrected a player at his football camp, and the mom got all bent out of sorts. I don't know if y'all see. Did y'all see that story?
Yeah, I saw
the soccer mom. It was unfortunate. Go ahead, Rhea.
I think from what I saw, the issue wasn't that he corrected the player. It's cursed at him. He said, "Get the F out my drill." And that was the issue because he was cursing at the boy. Right. And I get that. Like, I understand that. I also have been around sports. No, I understand the mother's concern, but I also have been around sports and I know how my son played football, so I understand how the coaches talk to the kids. Yeah. I don't necessarily like anybody telling my son to get the F out of anything, but I understood it. I understood him in the moment in the drill correcting the boy, but so I don't know, what is the big issue about it? Is it that the mother was getting upset about the boy being corrected, or is that he was just a man I could speak to? Like, which part is
so what happened? Okay, so to give you a little bit more background, after that she came on the field, interrupted practice, snatched the
kid
off, threw the jersey to the camp, like this, tried to show him up. Why are you doing all that? Number one, you're teaching your son to quit.
Yeah.
You understand this is not a a participation trophy type sport where everybody get to play. Now you have leagues like that where they don't keep score. I think it's bullshit, but that's my opinion.
I agree.
Okay, if you compete, you keep score. No, we're not gonna have a score. Everybody wins. There's no winners. There's no losers. We're just playing for the sport. Get out of here. Go be in a spelling bee or something else with that for that. So you showing up this NFL player who, number one, is taking his time. And shout out to Jada Black who reported the story. Saw that. But he's taking his time to come into a city that he doesn't even belong to do a camp. So this touched me, number one, because I'm from the inner city, man. And if I had a chance to learn football from Marshawn Lynch, right? It's so many kids without father. Like you made it about you. So if you don't want your kid to be here, just take him out. Just take him away. Don't try to make a big scene and do all that. And at the end of the day, that's how football is. Like, honestly, if your coach is not yelling at you, it might mean you trash. So if he yelling if he yelling at you and correcting you, that's a good thing. Right. And it's going to be some language, and it's okay. I bet you the son ain't have no issue with it. That's something he could tell his son, like, yo, man, Marshawn,
Marshawn cuts me out.
Yeah, word.
I remember when he told me to get the F out by Drew.
Word, and he got his shit in line. We got to stop this, and I ain't going to go there because I'm going to be nice.
Go there. We got
to go there. Go ahead, Drew. You got it.
Well, here's the deal, right? Everybody in America wants to be the center of attention. And so you see this at Little
That's
League
a big
games.
thing, yes.
You see parents yelling at coaches, yelling at umpires. That's my big, like, stay off the field. Like, let your child grow. First of all, put them in an opportunity where they can grow outside of the parents, right? If you get yelled at, you get cussed at. I mean, that used to be how you grew up. I grew up getting paddled at school. I got paddled at school one time after getting in my first fight.
Right.
Like, that's just part of growing up, or it used to be part of growing up.
Not
so much
Catholic
paddling.
schools, right? Then Catholic schools used to do that.
Yeah, not so much the paddling, but paddling from somebody else.
Right.
And then you get upset over playing time and all these other things. Like the parents need to look. Your time was
parents need to
when you were that age. Yeah. Now you need to step off the scene.
Yeah, the way she handled it was really extra. And I didn't those pieces about her throwing the jersey and taking her time, but that's super extra.
We acknowledge these knowledge. Keep going. Keep going. No.
Yeah, that's just super extra. It does. I agree. It does set a bad example. Like even if you have a concern about it, you can wait until the end of the practice or where there's a break and there's a time where you can speak to him directly as opposed to making a scene. And so and that makes sense because he was just like the reason that he even followed after her to try to correct the situation, talk about it is because he did care. And so I don't think that portion that reaction from her was appropriate at all.
Right.
I agree.
To your point, Drew, we living in a society where you can't say nothing to people. Like there's certain, and that's what I'm saying. We have to stop this, man, because you can be corrected, you can be coached, you can be not even scolded. Scolded is not even the right word, but corrected or coached. Like that's to come to the camp. You're obviously coming for coaching or for correction. That's the whole purpose. So when a person does do that, we got to stop, like you said, getting in our feelings, doing all that. And if you don't understand the game, leave it up to the man. And that's where, in my opinion, Marshawn Lynch was saying, can I talk to a man? Because a man is going to get that. Not to say that a woman can't get it, but she was getting, I know, Rhea, don't get mad at me.
I'm not getting mad.
But I'm just saying, she was getting more in her feelings. He was like, yo, is a man around? Because he going to get... Boom, a man gonna be like, I know what it is. It's nothing personal. We know what that is. And I don't think it was nothing wrong for him to act like, but of course, everybody ain't paying like, why would he ask for a man? And it ain't even about...
On the surface, I understand. So I understand why he did it. I'll start there. But on the surface... On the surface, I get it. It is extremely insulting as a woman to have somebody to just assume that because we're talking about football that let me talk to a man because you're not going to get it. That's extremely insulting. And without the rest of the context, I can understand somebody drawing that conclusion. However, in the context, when you have it where you're dealing with the woman who's clearly already... I don't want to say emotional because I hate, but yeah, she's already riled up and she's walking off with her son and he's coming in trying to deal with it. It makes sense for him to ask for a man for a couple things because one, yes, you can talk man to man, but two, this big football player, this woman, and she's kind of heated.
Right.
It just doesn't make sense for him to continue to engage her. Right. Yeah.
Then it's her. Go ahead.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense for him to continue to engage her just from a common perspective, optics and everything. Right. It makes more sense for him to talk man to man to someone else. So like I said, without the context, I get why
Right.
people be like, why would he ask for a man? Because I've had people do that to me and be like, no, you can talk to me about it. Like, I
Exactly.
don't need you to get someone else. Just, I know what I'm talking about. But in the context, if I'm already worked up,
Yeah.
you don't want to talk to me when I'm worked up, period, because you're not going to have, or you don't, when a person's worked up, they're not listening,
Right.
and you can't have a conversation. So I understand why he
And
asked
let's give
for
him
it.
credit. He did try to talk to
He
her
did.
first. He tried to de-escalate it or explain. And after he seen that he wasn't getting anywhere, then he
That's
asked for
when
her. So he didn't just circumvent her like, let me just talk to the man. He was
Yeah.
like, boom, boom, boom. Okay, I see this is not getting anywhere. Let me talk to it before, because a few years back, Richard Sherman. Remember, he had that after the game. The reporter came on his face. He He was passionate. He had just played a cool Crabtree, a side receiver, and they tried to paint it as he's yelling at this damsel in distress.
Right.
So
That
that wasn't it at all. You passionate. You come in this man's face after he's competing at the highest level. You stick a microphone in his face. You're gonna get the passion, and then you
Right.
could try to no. So before someone else looks outside it, let me talk to another. Boom, boom, boom. That's all that was. So.
Right.
Kudos to Marshawn, man.
Yeah,
And,
I think he handled it as well as he could have handled
Yeah.
that situation. Absolutely.
yeah. I hope, and I hope that kid understand. I think sometimes,
I hope the mother allowed him to finish.
Yeah.
Like after this whole thing, after she got a moment, I hope she let him finish the game because it's a great opportunity for him. And the whole thing, I mean, like it just escalated so much farther than it needed to.
let's just say,
In my
I just
opinion.
want to say this is my last thing on that, but sometimes you gotta make, like you said, people have to understand it's not about them. And when you do stuff like that, what the mom did, you take away the camp experience for the whole kids. Because now Marshawn has to stop doing, you don't know what he's doing afterwards, maybe signing some autographs. Or this is time he could have been doing stuff like that, but now he one-on-one, and then they know they being taped. That's another
Yeah.
reason he probably asked for a man. All this putting cameras in your face. We know Marshawn has documented instances in the airport when this dude was following him, taping him. He's like, yo, stop filming me. Marshawn is even with the media, he ain't like all that talking. He don't like doing that. So why y'all trying to, egg him on or whatever? So,
Yeah.
we just got to understand some things is just not all about us. And in this society we in, it's unfortunate that people try to make things, about them.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
But
Agree.
we don't know. We got knowledge on that. Let's go on to entertainment. Go ahead. No, Drew. No. Before me, go ahead,
Yeah,
please.
let's stay on knowledge real quick. I
Yes,
just
sir.
have a question
Uh-huh.
that kind of related to what Marshawn Lynch
Okay.
requested. So there are some men in the corporate world or in politics who do not allow themselves to be alone with women. Right?
Ooh,
And
we was just talking about this.
feminists,
Drew for 500.
feminists and some women feel like that's not right. That's uncalled for. You're limiting or women's opportunities to be mentored, shaped, have private discussions, and be groomed for leadership in higher positions in the company and so forth. However, we also know there's a lot of, due to the Me Too movement, a lot of women coming out saying, I was touched, I was groped, I was mistreated, blah, 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 blah. So I'm just wondering what you guys think about just the stance of a man saying, I'm not going to be alone with a woman unless there's someone else in the vicinity.
Ladies first.
No, you go ahead.
Especially
I'll
only
come.
when work related. I mean,
You go ahead. What are your thoughts? I have thoughts, but you go ahead.
So ladies first. We go come back down the panel. We round robin.
I think that both are true. I think in this current environment, I totally understand. I totally understand it. Even with my son, I would tell him about being alone with girls that you aren't familiar with. Like, don't be alone with them. Make sure a friend is there, or just try to avoid it at all costs, because just the mere accusation, whether or not it ends up being substantiated, the mere accusation that you did something inappropriate to a woman is horribly damaging to your career. So I think it makes sense, but it is true that it does limit options. So the reality of it, the reality of it is, women have been in extremely difficult positions for decades.
for millennium.
Yeah, so so you're in a situation where you're with a man, and they will say or do, or a group of men, and they will say or do anything. And honestly, to be successful, some very successful women have learned to just kind of deal with a certain amount of sexual harassment. Like, it's just normal. Somebody might say something or bump up against you or do something, or you're in a situation that's supposed to be professional, but they are all rubbing on you or whatever. Like, And women have learned how to simply block that out and still try to thrive in the midst of all that. And then it's like, and then if you actually do indulge, then your success is credited to sleeping your way to the top. So it's really been a no-win situation for women for an extremely long time.
Okay.
So now you have the Me Too movement, where it's giving voice to women who have been in these horrible situations, and people who have legitimately done things are finally getting their I don't know if you would call it justice, but getting some type of consequence. And also, accusations that really aren't that strong are being lobbied at men who don't necessarily deserve to have the titles that are being thrown at them. So it's this really ugly, sticky situation. But for a man in this particular time, I think it's smart, because you risk your career if somebody says something. And it doesn't even have to be, it could be somebody compliments you, but the woman takes it in a way that is inappropriate, or you come, like you said, you're passionate about something.
Or you reject
the
woman and she takes it personal.
Well, it could be a number of things, and so I do think that it's just a safety, it's a precaution but in terms of mentoring, that's true, because mentoring a lot of times is one-on-one, it's a lot of times very informal, but you also have to remember that there's a certain level of trust that comes into mentorship. Like outside of the surface level, when you're really grooming someone, there's a certain level of trust, because you do need to be able to speak to that person and talk about things and give that person constructive feedback, and that's not always going to happen with a third party. So it is limiting, but I think that right now I get why men would be like, nah, I'm not even going to go down this road, I don't want to risk it.
And most of them, let me just add in real quick, most of the men that do that, they do it from like a Christian perspective. Like, I don't want to put myself in a tempting position or disrespect my wife. Now, because
you got to run out of Potiphar's house like Joseph, right?
Yeah. From that, I don't think you're disrespecting your wife by being along with a coworker to get work done. So I can see that perspective. But go ahead, man.
I mean, y'all keep it like so. It's I feel mixed about it. I'm more 60-40. It being your first question, you said how do we feel about some women, again, not being able to be mentored due to the fact that, all these accusations, boom, boom, back. But the first scenario you gave, I totally understand that part. If you have a business and you have a livelihood and you have your name, your 30 years or whatever, your reputation, that could be tainted. Like we're living in, again, this is understanding the times and knowing what to do in them. We're living in an age where, stuff don't even have to be proven. People are losing their careers over allegations. Again, a San Francisco 49ers running back. I hate to just keep referencing sports, but, false rape charge. A year later, she was found to be lying. That dude's out of the league. He don't get that time back.
Right.
So I get it, man. Like, nah. Now, it's unfortunate because there are some smart women. We big up women and women's empowerment. Like, it's unfortunate that some women who doing it the right way, who are smart, intelligent, who probably deserve a fair shot, they're not going to get that shot because it's directly proportional. Because some women are crying wolf. Now, I'm not saying all women are, because, there are cases and all that. We know those are documented. But there are women who are not, using this whole Me Too and this whole wave to the best of their advantage. It's going to be women who don't get a shot, don't get a chance, don't get that promotion that they should get because, Staff Chief Sergeant, Drew Richardson is not letting you in his office after office hours. No. And may not neither because, listen, I'm taping everything.
But I think, but then I think, especially when it comes to business owners or people in positions of power, it does put a different level of responsibility. How can I groom and develop people in a way that doesn't hinder one particular group of people from being able to get the type of recognition and exposure that they deserve? So we just have to rethink how we do things, and that it is possible. It's a new challenge, but new challenges just require new solutions. It's not like it's impossible.
One other thing too, to that point, I seen some industries, I seen like on blogs where certain guys are saying, "I'm not hiring women at all."
No, that's just ignorant.
Listen though, listen to that point. Yeah, it's industry specific because like. And another person said, I'm thankful that I don't have to work with women. Construction industries, like, again, not saying there's like, I only want to work in situations where I don't, they say it's wrong. And the dude acknowledged it. He said, I know it's wrong, but because of this, I'm not trying to deal with this, not trying to have sexual harassment cases, not trying to have all these things. And Because you always play it. It's revert. A couple years back, I remember we went to business school studying. It was a guy who tried to get a job at Hooters, and of course they didn't hire him. Hooters, and he tried to sue them for discrimination. Like it's always somebody trying to beat the system, which is funny. But and then it was an old lady like. This is funny, but she won. 86 years old, tried to be a waitress at Hooters.
she had Hooters.
Age discriminations. No, they didn't hire her, and she won the case. So, like, it's always going to be somebody trying to beat the system and all that. So, to totally avoid that, as a business owner, I have that right. I can say...
Well, and you also can have a discrimination lawsuit posed against you.
Women up here.
That's illegal.
Oh, woman.
It is illegal to
you
just
don't
discriminate based on gender, absolutely, or religion, or race, or culture. I don't think that's the answer. And so, the challenge is, I get it. I get that in certain environments, especially male-dominated environments, when you invite women into those environments, it does naturally change the culture. And I don't think that that's necessarily a bad thing, but I do think that there is this fear of it changing too much because you get the woman who comes in and now you can't say what you want to say, you can't operate the way you always have. But I do think that there has to be a way to find balance because it's always good to have diversity. It doesn't matter what the situation is. Diversity is a good thing. But I also think, and I hope women don't come after me for this, I also think that sometimes we're like way too sensitive. Like if I go into a construction job and I'm not going to get mad if like my coworker goes over in the corner and like takes a piss in the woods. I'm not going to like, oh my God, I'm so offended. Like I'm not going to do that because I understand that I am coming into a particular environment. And so like, no, I don't need to be discriminated against, but I also need to adapt to a certain culture too. And I do think that there are situations where women are just like, way too extra.
You should apologize. That's inappropriate.
Way too extra with their expectations of.
Yeah, come on.
Yeah, I don't
Sally.
agree, and I do think some of the more extreme feminists and just kind of their expectation is just very outlandish in my personal opinion. Mm-hmm. So I do think that like there does have to be like you can't come into a situation and then anytime a guy compliments you, it's like, oh my gosh, I feel harassed. It's like no, they just told you look cute.
But that's what you know what I'm
saying, and that's
out. Because harassment is defined as unwanted advancement. So if you ask a coworker out and she wants you to ask her out, great. But then if you ask another coworker out and she doesn't want you to, bam, you're in jeopardy of losing your job.
That's what they said. Like there's a joke that says it's only harassment if she don't like you.
Well, no, because guys, y'all don't necessarily know how to take no for an answer, and I'm not. I know
some guys don't get no.
I know that. I'm not.
Yeah, what's this no you talking
I'm not. Y'all don't know how to
we
take
get
no
no
for
upside
an answer.
down. It's on. Man,
y'all don't know how to take no for an
podcast.
answer. It's like guys have this idea that because they are interested in you, you should welcome whatever advances they give. And when you don't, it's just it's almost like in their brains something just doesn't compute. Like, what do you mean you don't want to go out? Like, I mean, I don't want to go out with you, or I don't want a relationship with you. And so it comes from a simple asking somebody out and being cool to this thing where they're constantly trying to what is like Steve Urkel, like I'm wearing you down, but like eventually you're gonna say yes, and that is the point when the person is not receptive to what you're offering and you keep coming, then yes, that can get into harassment.
You seem to have some experience in this.
I
you
do.
take care to unpack a couple of stories. You're listening to the SKEAM podcast. Shout out to everybody on our Spotify, iHeartRadio, wherever you listen to your podcast at, iPhone, iTunes, Google Play, Podbeam. SKEAM podcast. I mean, we don't have to get too specific.
No,
but
I mean,
we're
I don't have to.
Entertainment, Deez. We keep in the same conversation. Let's go to entertainment. Are you not entertained?
God, yeah, that's how y'all. I'm like even basic things like a guy like asking for your number. You would think that it would be simple. Oh no, thank you, I'm not interested. That would be it. End of conversation. Because obviously, if I say no, I don't want your number. It's like, oh, what? You got a boyfriend? I can't call you sometime. We can't just be friends. Can I get your IG? It's like. No, I said no the first time. Why we keep? And so eventually, a woman's like, all right, just take my Facebook or just take my IG, just so you can end the conversation.
So let me give you one. Let me give you the counter of that. You go in the office. To Drew's point, when you brought up the topic, guys just working, ain't trying to get it done. Shorty feeling him in the office. He first of all has a rule: don't shit where you eat. He might be liking you or maybe not. You don't get the attention that you want. Now you feeling some type of way. Go. Now you feeling. Now it's
I don't think that particular situation is that common.
Oh.
I'm not saying it does not happen.
I
I'm
don't
not saying
know.
it does not happen. I don't think that situation is that common.
It's
where,
more women than men, and some of these,
understand that.
right, and government and stuff we doing.
But no, to the point where you're saying you're not getting the attention that you want. So then
from
what?
that man. I'm just saying from that man.
There are plenty of other men.
Okay, so let's just. But in the office, you know how it is.
might-
Some women don't even like a guy, or they. And then they see him talking to somebody. Oh, he not gonna talk to Sherry. He ain't going to lunch with her, and you get all that because.
So you either make your interest known, and if he's not with it, he's not with it. But you can get attention anywhere. It's not that difficult to get attention from men. Like it's not
that okay.
Yes. All you have to do is be breathing.
Everybody, you gotta be what?
Even then, that's
you gotta do is be what?
breathing.
It's not.
Listen.
It's not that difficult. And so, I do think.
Okay.
That, Go
Okay.
ahead.
Real quick. No. And you got it right back. Yes and no. Yes about attention. No is right. See, because y'all know, and as a woman, you could tell me if I'm wrong. All attention is not the same attention. Attention from the guy you want it from, versus attention from Norman, or Steve Urkel or the pocket protector, Pete. You know what I mean? That's not the same as attention from.
That's right.
Right.
Not from like Idris. If Idris giving me a certain level,
Idris,
he's married. I gotta pick a new boo.
Oh, you gotta pick a new.
I gotta pick a new boo because
You had the baseball player, right? Stout or Mike Trout. I said Stout.
He's
Mike.
married too.
Oh, she got a thing for married men. We on 605.
I don't have a thing for married men. Let's pause.
But
I
Rhea,
loved Idris before he got married, but I'm happy for him.
Wouldn't you also say it's not where the attention's coming from, but how it's coming?
Yeah, I agree.
Yes. So that's what I'm saying. It's multifaceted. It's how it's coming. It's if it's not coming. I know some women are turned on when you don't give them attention. That's most women. But when you don't pay them attention,
What?
come on now. We have our fields of research. When you
Janky fields of research.
Janky, what?
Janky.
See how she
You get
took a
this
shot?
research from?
So you can't.
I thought she was gonna go the whole show. She couldn't do it. Now I'm janky.
I didn't call you janky. I called your
janky
forms of
field?
research janky.
Well,
Yes.
I think a
Go ahead.
man with a purpose, who's focused, and works in an office, let's say full of women, and ain't studying none of them, I think that man is going to be more of a turn on for that whole office.
Thank you, Drew.
Then the guy
Drew
that's
for
trying to smash
500.
everybody.
That's
I
what he's
agree.
saying.
Right?
I 100% agree.
Now why ain't drinking? Now why is drinking when he said?
No,
That's the same thing
I
I'm
agree
saying.
with that. But no, because he started out a man with purpose who's kind of focused on his thing. That is sexy. That's sexy.
You know we got purpose, right? All right.
It is true. That's sexy
same- I
versus the
feel
guy
you.
who's just trying to get at everybody.
Yeah, no.
Or even,
Who's
like-
doing that?
Okay.
We can't have that much silence in the radio world. SKEAM podcast. Sorry guys for who's listening. We gotta go back on. So check it. Entertainment, other news. Shout out to Griselda again. Records got signed to Rock Nation. Buffalo, New York. Stand up. That is awesome. West Side Gun, Benny the Butcher, Conway. I just like seeing cats make power moves and doing that. Shout out to Jay-Z and Tidal and all that doing that. We got SKEAM podcast. You might be listening to us on Tidal as well. So keep rocking. I want to get to another topic because it kind of ties in. I'm gonna let Drew toss us up. Appearance, because this is appearance and man. This is appearance and man at the same time. We don't stay in appearance, but it appears that we have a conundrum going on. We was talking about. Rhea was just talking about taking a piss in the woods, but we're gonna I'm gonna pass it with that piss to the penis. We was talking about the pics and
Yeah.
touch it up, Drew.
So I took Maine alluded earlier that we were in fantasy football together, and I kind of took a step back. I took a step back from social media to include Twitter. Recently, I'm back on Twitter, and I noticed that this, even before I left, that there was this rampant tweets from women saying, guys, stop sending unsolicited dick pics. Oh, man. And some of the girls, they will
Let's discuss
show,
this.
Hey, this is what I got today.
Let's
Then
discuss
after
this.
Guys, stop. Had to block this guy. Had to block this guy for sending these pics. And I'm like, first of all, okay, nobody wants to see a man naked. Like, nobody. I mean, present company. But even then, like, nobody's asked you for a picture of your junk. So I don't understand. This kind of goes back to what you were talking about with the harassment. Like, if they didn't ask, I don't know any woman Well, let me back up. First of all, men and women are completely different. Night
You
and day.
guys would probably welcome it. Like if a girl
can't-
just like,
That's what I'm saying.
boom, here's this for you.
You can turn a
Oh,
guy's
yeah,
head
yeah.
with a pair of
Oh,
breasts
we
or a pair
get
of
'em.
hips, right? I don't know one woman who's seen a dick pic and said, "I got to have that guy."
Our cats get. I mean, is that working for some women? You don't have to. I know you. Unfortunately, got to be the representative for all women.
It has to be. My
'Cause they wanna
thought
keep
is
doing it, right?
right. Men typically do what they think is going to make them successful with women. So it
That's
has
what I
to
was
be
gonna go.
working
Drew.
with
It's a numbers game.
someone.
Like throw it
Like
out there.
if I send it to 30 of them in one bite, at least you know what I'm saying. But it's so
Literally bites. She
annoying.
bites.
It's so annoying, and it happens way too much. Like
But y'all keep them collected and flooded in. Like, girl, let me add this to the jar and have that.
I don't save them, but I do know people do. And trust and believe, dudes, when you send her your penis, she's showing it to her friends. So at the very least, I hope it's impressive because I've seen some ones. I'm just like,
So what
why
would
would you
define
send this
impressive?
to anybody?
What would define
Whoa.
impressive?
Let's discuss this.
I mean, a reasonably sized penis, both
Like
length
a beer
and girth.
can? So
Reasonably sized penis,
Yes, like a good length and a good girth.
length and girth.
Like a
Yeah,
baby arm.
both count. Like
a baby leg.
a baby arm, a baby. Those are yeah, big. But I mean, you gotta
Whoa.
have an impressive penis. Like
Ain't
if you're gonna do it, and if your hope is to wow someone with
we
a
got
dick
that.
pic,
Let's
then
just
you
get
gotta
back
have
to
a
the,
good
let's
one.
get back to the measurements, the measurables.
I'm not gonna give
A couple weeks ago, you were on here talking about 4 inches and all these, the standard and all
the
that.
the average penis size.
So 4, can I get 5, 6? Let's go. Where are we?
I mean, I think if you have a good
Right there, that's what we need. That number. Don't know.
I'm not
So
doing this with you.
yes,
I'm
that
not doing
number.
this with you.
Scheme podcast.
I'm not doing this with you because look, a reasonable size penis and reasonable will vary from women to women. Some women could take a good 4 inches with a nice size girth. Some women need like 8 or 9. So it really is a matter of personal preference, and the size is only part of it. If you have no stroke, then it doesn't really matter.
Stroke.
You can have a
And I
huge
said- and I
penis and
think-
not know what to do with it.
That's what I was saying. So I think it's. I think it's multifaceted. I think you're right. Size, stroke, and then stamina.
yeah,
right? 'Cause
that's
it's 3 to 4. Whoa.
Child.
Yeah. So I think you gotta have a
Yeah, so
nice,
all those things
nice
come into
portfolio
play.
and all. That's like dribble, shoot, and
but to bring it
play
back-
defense.
But you bring it back.
But to bring it
Don't
back
send your penis
to
to women
the size
without
dependent unless it's the
Yeah.
size of a baby.
No,
leg.
and
Oh,
no, unless they're interested in seeing your penis.
Oh, okay.
If they have
Ask for it.
expressed
If they
interest,
ask
or
for
if the conversation
fellas, stop
is
sending
down,
dick pics. Let's stop that. Can we cut that out in 2019?
Here's the thing: can we stop doing anything with a woman that she didn't ask for?
I like that.
yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
can we
let's do-
just? can we
Yeah.
just
I thought
make
that was the
a
norm anyway, though.
So did I.
Cause who wants something that don't nobody like? If you're not into it, let's be for real. Like,
Republicans.
Guys, no. Guys for quite some time will have sex with women who aren't that into it. How do you think like
But
date
I don't-
rape?
but that-
but you
how do
know- what do you
date
get
rape-
from that?
That's
Okay,
I don't-
that's
you
a-
have to
you
ask the
said it.
guy.
I
You
was
have
gonna
like
go
date
there.
rape situations where obviously the female
I
isn't
can't-
into it. You have situations in relationships where the girl don't really want to give it, but you're horny, so you have sex. Like there have been.
don't get nothing out
I'm
of
not
that,
saying that.
I'm
I'm not
just saying
saying that's
it's
the case with
for
all
me.
guys, but I'm sure plenty of guys have had sex with women who weren't that into it. So I think that what you said, not doing anything to a woman that the woman doesn't want, I think that's just a good. That should be the bar. That should be the standard.
yeah.
If she's not into it, then don't do it. I could put it on a t-shirt.
Oh my goodness. but okay, let me just. I wanted to change Rhea's hat real quick. Hold that thought, Drew. Don't lose it.
Yeah.
So let's go into the mind of chicks who like receiving dick pics. Can you just we know it's not you, but I'm just saying, put that hat on for a minute. Like, ooh, girl, Shirley, look, and not like, because to your point, if guys are doing this, some chicks might, like it. So what are they?
What are they what?
I don't know. I'm just what's that?
So
We want to reach our whole audience. We know some of y'all.
okay, so 2 things. I
Big
think
DPs are
if
out
the
there.
conversation brings itself to a point where, I feel like you can feel certain situations out. So if you have been conversing back and forth with a person and there is interest, maybe y'all a little bit flirty, and you do it, then maybe that's a little less risky. I've legit I've had dudes hop into my inbox and say, "Hey, how are you doing? I want to get to know you." Like first 3 sentences, and I'm like, "Hi, how do I know you?" And then boom, dick pic, and I'm just like, "Wait, how did we get
Whoa,
here?"
the strong.
Yeah, what just happened? Like, I don't even understand why you thought that I wanted
what's
that.
your name?
Right? What's your name? I want to get to know you. Boom, here's
get
my
it.
penis. So, but now, on the other hand, if we're going back and forth, and maybe I posted something like, "Oh, you look real good in that picture," da 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 da, and we're talking about hooking up or something like that, at least like get in the vicinity of sex before you just throw your penis out there. Now, for your question, for women who like dick pics, I feel like if she says that or if she indicates that, then okay. But that's if the woman likes it, then that's not the issue.
So if you send a pig naked, if a chick send a pig naked first, that's green light.
Well, that's
for dick
that's
pic?
easily
You can go
green
right
light.
back with
Yeah,
it?
you can follow back. If you receive nudity, you can follow back up with nudity. That's a fair exchange.
Cause see, again, I mean, listen.
I'm learning something.
Or she says, "Let me see it."
Here's what I learned from being married.
Pull up.
Is that men and women are completely different. And I've spent a lot of years, if I can be transparent, trying to get my wife to think more like a man. And I think she's also spent a lot of years trying to get me to think like a woman. It's never going to happen. And so, as a man, if you know, as a man, a woman's naked body will change your mind or direction, then let's look at the opposite of that. Your naked junk ain't gonna get a woman.
It's not likely to change.
No. So we can stop that.
Not likely to change. At best, you might end up being the, break the glass in case of emergency penis. That's the best you can hope for.
But
with
women
a
like
good penis.
in
Women
case of
like
emergency
women like
penis.
some.
What if that's all
measure
you wanna
of
do?
Connection.
If that's all you want to do, then it's fine. But that, mind you, that's not guaranteed cheeks. That is possibly cheeks when all of her other options run out.
How do we get to guaranteed cheeks?
You have to. Well, I can't speak for all women,
Okay,
but it takes a whole lot more than that. I need,
Yeah.
I'm a normal person, like conversation, relationship, establishing a rapport. Yeah, not just sending me.
Guaranteed cheeks.
Now, I will say though, I will acknowledge that I have received one where I was like, "Damn, that was rude," though.
Right.
It was a nice penis, but I was just like,
Stopped
I was
you.
turned off.
By the method,
But
but not by the
I was turned off
package.
by receiving it.
Yeah.
But I was like,
But-
and I said that I was like, that's really nice, but you should probably send this to someone who you might use it on.
Yeah. Return the sender. You didn't return the sender. You technically.
I was just like, good job, but it's just not for me.
Yeah.
Crazy.
It
It's
is.
just not-
yeah.
it's
I
just
mean,
not a good
well,
look.
I don't send dick
But it
pics.
has to work. It
I
has to
don't-
be working, or guys wouldn't continue to do it, and to do it so freely.
It's some
that's-
shit-
see, again, you're trying to put some thought onto the male mind. See, it's like Jermaine said, right? All you need is one woman. A penis can only
bite.
fit into one woman at a time, right? And so, if I throw it out there and just one says yes,
Then there you go.
You feel like that worked.
but it's not. It can't be working unless that woman knows you. If that woman knows you and you've already flirted and you've never said anything sexually, and then you send one, maybe because she's already into you.
Right.
But you can't. If I live in Cali, I can't send a dick pic to Janet in Texas, who I've never had any conversation with, and all of a sudden she's.
What does
flying
that
to
do,
Cali.
though? I don't know.
Male ego.
Turns women off.
Crazy, especially in the Me Too movement. Everything online is kept.
And chicks
Yeah,
is
right.
asking for shit too, though.
If she asks for it, then that's
different.
different because now it's not an unsolicited dick pic. She's asking for it. And if she wants it and you are comfortable sending it, I personally think that people are way too casual about sending pictures of their naked body and allowing people to own photos of their naked bodies. You never know how
Well,
that's
it's all in the cloud anyway.
Yeah,
I know a
like-
lot of people don't even take shit down from the internet. Don't even really send shit. Just to get
like
it going.
I think good reputation management suggests that you just are thoughtful about who owns pictures of your naked body or videos of you doing things that you might have trouble, doing in front of your grandmother. So that's just my personal opinion. It's just way too casual.
Especially the people that grew up with it.
Yeah.
I wanted to She said grandmother, that threw me off. Because it's like I hear y'all, and I ain't even trying to play devil's advocate on the dick pic center, but it just leads me to think about the whole Snapchat and people think, oh, that shit erased and all that. Snapchat me that pussy and all that, because that's where like this generation, these millennials are now. Like, fuck it, I just
Aren't
FaceTime
you a
Live.
millennial too?
I don't. Am I? I think I am. I don't know. I'm just saying this.
I mean, like,
but I think
on
it's.
the
I think
cusp.
it's tiers of millennials.
On the cusp,
think
I agree.
The newer age millennials.
Yeah.
We're millennials, yeah. But
yeah,
the
I think
newer
not even
age,
that. It's new age millennials, but this is more so Generation Z that we're talking about now. So these are
what we
folks.
X,
Yeah, we are X. This is no. Millennials
Y.
are
I don't know.
millennials are Gen Y. Our parents are X's. We're
We
Gen
Z.
Y. This is Z.
We
So
Y,
these
Z.
are
We
kids who
kinda
are
in the middle.
teens and 20s are Generation Z.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
And millennials are not.
That's
Millennials
D's,
are
you know.
mostly
Yo squad, these.
Millennials are like in their 20s right now.
Yeah.
millennials. Actually, the oldest
late
millennials are almost 40. They're
Right.
late
We're
30s.
millennials as well.
Millennials is 88 to like
Yeah. So,
Hey, okay.
It's
but what
not-
I'm saying, the
it's-
newer
it's-
age, we know,
it's
but
bigger than
the
that.
newer tier
It's more
of
like
them
82.
are more into Snapchat, Facebook. Like they'll rather call. I mean, social media than tech. Like that's the same communicate as phone and email and all that.
Yeah, why you
I'm
calling
face to face anyway. I mean, you can't. But anyway, and I'm hearing this conversation. I'm just trying to just seeing how we got our eyes on the pulse of everything that's going on. So it's like I don't think they're hearing that. Like they don't, or not that they're not hearing it. They're not caring. Like you know what I'm saying.
They don't see it the way we see it.
Exactly.
They have a false sense
So I'm
of
trying to-
security and privacy within this because they grew
Right.
up with it. It's all they know. It's their form of communication. Whereas
I'm trying to be the DPP, the
Well,
Dick Police.
I don't think
Dick
they
Pick
care.
Police for Drew, but
I don't think they care because
it's
first
it's
of all,
a tough
everybody's
assignment.
doing it,
Right.
right? If everybody in America cheats on their taxes, you're not going to put everybody in America in jail. Okay, number one. Number two, why is Kim Kardashian famous?
Right.
oh gosh,
That's
why
what I was
she
going
be-
to with the sex tape and all
Why
that.
is she
Right.
one of the wealthiest women in America? And has
because
done
her
that.
mom,
Does she have a
Kris
degree, by
Jenner,
the way?
is a beast.
Does she have a
Kris
degree,
Jenner
Rich Paul?
is a G. That's why she's famous. Kris
she?
Jenner is a G. Kris Jenner. The way that Kris
know what she
Jenner
did, but is she a G
turned
now?
one daughter's sex tape into an entire family's meal ticket.
Enterprise, yeah.
Kris Jenner is a boss.
But she
You
was,
can debate
she
me if
was
you want
around
to.
money
Kris Jenner is
before.
a boss. It doesn't change the
Or
fact
they
that
just
she's
say
a boss.
she's a hoe because she was at the trial. We saw the meme or whatever.
Why she gotta be a hoe?
Her ex-husband. I said this is opinion. Her ex-husband was defending her side man.
Her
Right.
side.
Right. Come on, we I don't know the whole layer and all that shit.
Kris
but,
Jenner's a G. That's definition of a G.
what I want to say, what I want to say though. Hold on.
No shame.
You said they don't care. The sex tape.
No.
Why? And then we saw everybody went crazy up the shower rod. Who's that? On Love and Hip Hop,
Shower
Mimi and
Nobody's capitalized off of a sex tape the way that Kim
Kardashian.
Kardashian has. Because Paris Hilton had one.
Nope. She went down. after
She
that
went
too.
right. She went down after that, and then the
Even
Mimi,
even
Stevie J's
Stevie J
girl.
had
We
one
didn't do that
earlier.
much. Oh, Stevie J had one,
With
and
Eve,
with Eve,
a
and that
while
was
ago,
kind of
yeah.
like fluttered and didn't really
Pam
go
Anderson.
anywhere. Yeah, those and they were
Why
hot
don't
for
I
a
know about
second.
sex tapes?
You do know a lot about it, but nobody
May
has
have-
capitalized
no,
on
no,
it.
no,
But
no,
again, that's because Kris Jenner is a beast. Like, and it as a mother to be like, you know what, boo, you did this, but we about to make this work for the entire. The sister is a model. The other sister has almost $1 billion cosmetic line.
Yeah.
Even Rob, who he got socks, but he still got a couple million. Like literally, the entire family
Right.
is eating off of how she capitalized on that one.
But
sex
dude
tape.
had
But
money.
that's
I'm
the
saying they've been
exception.
around
That's
money
not the
too,
rule.
because OJ had money, right? What's
OJ.
him called?
OJ
The
used to
dad,
have
who's a
money.
woman, was an Olympic athlete, so he had money. The Kardashian, their father, who passed away, he was a lawyer.
He was a lawyer.
independent
They
athlete.
were
So
wealthy,
they've been
but-
around, bread. You know what I
Nah,
mean?
Kris
Like,
Jenner's a G.
yeah, okay.
Kris Jenner's a G.
I would say she just a capital. You know, she capitalized off.
But
it.
But
my
she's
point
still a
was,
G, though.
She did not take any hits for having a sex tape.
Mm-hmm.
None.
Because women don't take hits. We know what it is for shit like that.
What do you mean?
For shit like that.
Yes, they do. Because no,
She got married still.
She got married still, but
To
but
Reggie
there are
Bush,
some. But how many?
Kanye West,
But
all
now
this
she
tossed around.
She also has the label. Exactly. You said she's tossed around. She gets labeled as a whore. Everybody's
No,
keeping
but she's
track
still
of how many.
married though. So that's not a loss. I'm like, let's be for real. She ain't taking a loss. She hasn't taken a
Because
loss
she got
from it.
married, she's not taking a
No.
loss. She has this
No,
label that she always has to
To Drew's
contend
point,
with.
but she still get money. She has money, like, but she's a G. That's my point. So is that really
Kris
a G?
Jenner is the G. You're
Kim
talking
Kim Kardashian not a G?
No, I said Kris Jenner is the G for the way that she flipped the
She
whole
flipped
thing.
it, but Kim Kardashian did it.
Yes, I
So she got to be the
understand
G, right?
No,
She had Ray J. How do you? There's nothing to flip without Kim Kardashian.
Kris Jenner is the G for the way she published, the way she flipped the situation. She flipped the
That's your
situation. Kim
opinion.
Kardashian did. Yeah, I welcome
They
that.
are, I ain't doing. I mean, hey, listen, they get it how
They're
you
making
live.
money.
Yeah, get it how you live.
Crazy money.
I'd rather have integrity and stand on mine.
Well, who said she doesn't have integrity?
Well, she just said you got mad because she getting tossed. To me, I'm going with Kim Kardashian.
No, but see,
more.
but so you make these judgments about her character because
No,
of the
about
sex
who?
tape.
Who we
How do you
talking
know
about?
she doesn't have it? We're talking about Kim Kardashian now. How do you know she doesn't have integrity?
No, I didn't say she didn't have integrity. I said that Kim Kardashian got more clout, if you will, it's G, whatever you want to call it, than Jenner, their mom, because if she didn't have that tape, we're not talking about none of this, right? We
Yeah.
agree on that? Right. So I'm saying, and then the original point I said was that Kim didn't take an L. People call her a hoe, but she had Reggie Bush and all these guys.
Yeah, but being labeled a whore is not
So
a
what's
positive
wrong with-
thing. That's
Okay,
not
so-
a positive
oh,
thing.
man, you're making my point.
Yeah.
I just called the mama whore, Jenner whore. You said she's a G.
But why are you calling it? Well, yes, Kris Jenner is a G. That doesn't change the fact.
But though she's still a whore though, right?
I don't think Kris Jenner's a whore.
I think she is. If you were at OJ's trial, that was your side dude. You're married to Kardashian.
Wait, is that
and then got a dude
verified?
who
Like,
went from
I'm not.
yeah.
And I'm genuinely
I
asking.
don't know if it's
Yes.
That's legit. Like that's fact that OJ and Kris Jenner were in a
Yeah.
relationship. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's been verified.
That's,
I don't-
You know,
right.
some people
I
think
know it's
some people think
speculation,
that
but I
some
didn't
people
know-
think that Chloe is
I've
their
heard
father.
that. Yes,
So-
I've heard
yeah,
that.
they was really rocking.
But we don't know that it's fact. It's just a standard rumor that people accept as truth. Is that what we're saying?
I think so.
Is Tupac dead? Is that fact or like that's what we get? I mean, listen,
I'm not doing this with you.
we've been around a lot of things. I think when you got songs called "I Hit First and they still, your husband could pay to get that, try to get that. Like people don't care. Like you said, when it comes to money and you out there, they ain't really caring. We've been flipping these cars around. This is 3-Car Monte, the SKEAM podcast. We happy to have the queen back in the building. She stirring things up as talking about she ain't going there, but no, this is a good one, y'all. We're gonna get ready to wrap it up. We're gonna come back next week, continue to build and flip it out. Keep our brother Drew with these interesting topics that he keeps pondering, keeps him awake at night. We're gonna
That's right.
go ahead.
No, I just stay awake. I hadn't slept in weeks.
Any shout outs? Anybody want to shout out somebody real quick? We'll do so next week. Listen, SKEAM Podcast. Take us out, D's. We see y'all.
See you next week.
Already.